guys, I'm ChezPride, and today is once again that time where we are going to play catch up on the most recent news in the world of life simulation games. And in this video, like most news videos here recently, we are touching on news that we have gotten for both The Sims 4 and Paralives in the last week. So from laundry lists to celebration sales, we have a fair amount of things to cover here. So let's go ahead and get jumping in with the game Paralives first, because there's a little less to cover, but it's still really exciting news because as you can see from the screen we are staring at here, Paralives has sold 1 million copies. And keep in mind, this game has been out for 1 month. It is a indie game, which means it's not a big corporation game, and it's ran by a team of like 15 people. It is really the first successful life simulation game besides, obviously the Sims franchise from EA, which has been going on since, technically the 90s, but really the early 2000s. The fact that they have come in and in the first month sold 1 million copies, and it's not even out in full access yet. It's still out in early access for the next at least year or two. I feel like that is huge. Like, that is amazing. They're doing such a great job, and I hope they are so proud of themselves. It's not even so much a comparison right now because it's such an early access, but I can just already see how this game is going to exceed The Sims, and it's really filling in a bunch of gaps in the Sims game that we are missing, especially in Sims 4. I've played a little bit of the game. I've played more than I've posted on here on my channel. I still have more coming that I've played with, but even just the little bit of gameplay I've played in the last few weeks, I just have really been enjoying this game, and I cannot wait to see how this game expands. And I am just so blown away that they have already sold so many copies. I knew they were going to do good, but they did really good for their first month. I mean, just to look at some things here, they posted some stats. 1 month of early access in numbers. They have given us 6 patches and hot fixes. They've had 80,000 last week average daily players, 11 hours average per player that has been playing, which honestly is about right. That's about where I'm at right now. We have 350,000 player feedback and bug reports because the people are responding and communicating with the Paralives team, which I think is really cool. We have 22,000 Steam Workshop mods created in 1 month for the game, and then also just some funny ones. We have 170 naked Charlie reported, and question mark players romancing and marrying Jason. Apparently everyone's jumping on that Jason train. So that's just some stats that they're showing. So obviously this game is really being enjoyed by people so far, not just me. I feel like pretty much everyone I've seen play it has not really a lot to complain about. Everyone kind of gets that's an early access. There's going to be more added. There's going to be more bug fixes. But the amount of support it's getting, I think, is great, especially with how great of a team is running this game. They are definitely morally and just as people way better than EA. And I should say I don't hate the Sims team. EA, I'm a little but I definitely would rather support a team like Paralives than a big corporation like EA. Just my opinion, especially with the whole new takeover and whatnot. So I'm really happy to see them doing so well, and they are not being shy about this. They are going ahead and throwing a bunch of stuff out there to celebrate this. So we have a bunch of different sale type stuff going on. To start out, we're actually having a Paralives giveaway. So for one more day after I post this, you can enter a giveaway on their social medias, which is Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. And you can enter giveaways on those 3 websites and they will give out 10 free copies of Paralives, and they are going to pick the winners on the 26th. So within 24 hours after I post this. So you might want to jump on that and enter if you haven't entered, if you haven't already bought it. So real quick, let's go ahead and jump over to their Instagram so we can actually look to see how the giveaway works exactly. So like I said, this giveaway is not only on Instagram, but it is on their Twitter and Facebook as well. But on Instagram, they are just Paralive Game, and they have this picture here that has the instructions, but the instructions are super simple. All you have to do is follow them on the social media that you are on, and then comment on their posts, and then they will go through the comments and pick out 10 people and give them a code that you can enter into Steam and then download the game for free from there. So it's really simple, but it is, like I said, probably less than 24 hours now until they pick a winner. So if you are seeing this within the first 24 hours that I posted this video, you might want to go ahead and jump on that if you do want to enter. But if you don't have that chance to win a free copy and you haven't got it yet, you are in luck, because the day I'm recording this, which is June 25th to July 9th, they're having a 20% off on Paralives on the Steam Summer Sale, which is perfect timing for their announcement that they sold 1 million copies. And this sale is actually better than the launch sale. I honestly thought like the launch sale was probably the cheapest you were gonna ever get it, and actually this one is even cheaper than the launch sale by like $3. So you can save like $8 pretty much when you buy it on the sale. So if you haven't got it, you're not one of the 1 million owners of Paralives, then you can get it for a sale. This is the cheapest it's been yet. I'm not going to say it's never going to be cheaper, because that's what I thought at first, but hey, it could be the cheapest it's ever going to be. You never know. And you want to really, honestly, I feel like get on it as soon as possible, because yeah, they're having sales and stuff, but if you know how early access games work, basically the concept is before they launch it as a full access game, they are slowly going to be adding bug fixes and new features, and as they make the game better, they are going to slowly be lifting the price up until it is fully launched and at full price. So really, I feel like it's smarter to get it in early access, because you get it for a cheaper price, you get to play it longer, and you get to see it grow and like expand and just become the final game, which I think is really, definitely jump on these sales if you haven't got the game yet, because it is really fun. I have recorded like 10 hours of footage. I've played more than that. I have really been having fun with this game. Like I said earlier, I think it fills in a lot missing things that we have from The Sims, and I have been playing The Sims games since like 2006, 2007. Also, one last sale that they're having, they have went ahead and put themselves with another bundle. Now, this isn't a bundle where they're like putting things in the game. That's their bundle collaborations. This is just a bundle where you can buy both games, and technically you can save on both games and get them for a cheaper price. So we have the game Loft and Paralives, and if you buy them both in the bundle, you get 22% off on both games, making both games together $45.66, where normally Paralives alone is, when off sale, $40. So, you know, that's, I feel like for two games, $45.66 is pretty decent. There's been a lot of bundles that they have been doing. The ones that are still going on right now is the House Flipper 2, the Unpacking. There's been other ones that they've done, but I do like the fact that they are starting out by collabing with a bunch of other smaller games. I think that's actually pretty cool and a really smart strategy. But as far as that goes, that's pretty much all the newest Paralives news. All of this news I got came straight off the paralives.com/news, so the official Paralives website. And now we're going to go ahead and jump over to the EA's official website and look at the newest laundry list. So the article that we're going to be looking at on the EA website is called Laundry List Upcoming Bug Fixes June 23rd, 2026, which was 2 days ago for me, and it is the day that this article came out, as well as the day that they did a Q&A on this article and the upcoming patch that this laundry list is for. And if you don't know what a laundry list is, basically it is just the highlights of what is coming in upcoming patches for games. This one has to do with the patch that we are getting June 30th, which is next Tuesday. And it isn't everything that's coming in the patch. I mean, there's literally over 80 bug fixes just coming alone, not including new features that are coming. But it does highlight what they are considering the most important features. So we have this article to read, and then I have an article pulled up that kind of highlighting what happened in the Q&A. I tried to go to the Discord, but they locked the server after the actual Q&A was done. So I just have to go to an article about it. But let's read the actual laundry list first before we jump into the questions and answers about what we're about to read. So this, like I said, came out June 23rd, 2 days ago, and it says, "Hi Simmers, welcome to the laundry list, where we share the top community concerns that we are currently investigating and plan to resolve. This update includes over 10 fixes for the most voted issues on the EA forums, improvements to live mode notifications and phone calls, a move of scratch files to app data and Mac for Mac users, addresses a variety of other bugs and issues reported by the community. We want to learn more about some of these improvements. Join us for a special dev Q&A on the Sims Discord, where we'll answer your questions. And like I said, we will go over an article about how that went. The most top voted issues that we have, I believe they said there's 10. Windows and doors now display correctly and remain properly aligned with walls across all graphics settings, low, medium, and high, without clipping or glitching into walls. If this occurs during low setting load, please load the prompt and restart your game." See, I noticed that when I would put it kind of on the half tile, like the tile in between the two tiles basically. So I hope that is also fixed. And then we fixed an issue where pattern Sims could form an unexpected relationship upon leaving Create a Sim. This fix isn't retroactive and saves where the relationship isn't already occurred, but is retroactive in old saves where the relationship hasn't changed yet. And then we addressed an issue where the game could become stuck on the thumbnail UI when a user clicks on a gallery item after it changes the filters. The game no longer soft locks when attempting to download a custom tattoo from the library. Then we fixed an incident of endless loading save corruption that could occur when trying to place certain lots from the gallery. This was happening because the lots had overused placements with cheats and corrupting the lot's footprints. We adjusted how name hashes behave to account for these instances. So basically, if they were big lots with a bunch of stuff on them. A top community concern around Sims performing mean interactions was investigated. We found out while this was previously happening, these were old bugs that we were previously addressed in past patches. When investigating new reports and player saves, we found out it being caused by Vicious Dynasty Ideal from the Royalty and Legacy pack. That was by design. We wanted to address this feedback. However, so Sims with the Vicious Dynasty Ideal will no longer autonomously run mean interactions. They will still get prestige points when player mainly runs mean social. So basically they just tweaked it to where the Vicious Dynasty Ideal is a little less mean unless it's on purpose. They fixed an issue where child Sims could be automatically added to dynasties and players would receive a join dynasty notification on repeat when entering or leaving a sim for legacy and royalties. Get to work, where doctors couldn't perform interactions with their patients or use deliver food interaction, and cats and dogs. We have actually 3. So we fixed an issue that was preventing Sims from adopting cats and dogs. That's horrible, considering that's the whole point of the pack. And then they fixed an issue that was preventing Sims from performing the feel the love interaction on a cat or small dog. And then fixed an issue that prevented Sims from bathing small dogs. Okay, I thought it was just dogs in general that was having problems with bathing, but apparently it was small dogs. And then Sims once again are able to complete the hair and makeup tasks on actor career gigs and get famous. So that's the top 10 most voted ones apparently that they have over on the EA forums. But then there is of course other stuff as well. So we have improvements for lymph nodes for notifications and phone calls. So basically they have given us in the game options a checklist of what kind of festival notifications that you want, and also the options to silent phone calls. So if you own a lot of packs that have festivals in them, whether it be in San Myshuno, Brychester, Mount Comoraby, Hinveron Bagley, Copperdale, Ravenwood, Gibby Point, all of these have festivals that go on the calendar, and it gets so crowded because, you know, all of these festivals overlap. So there's multiple festivals on multiple days on top of the daily holidays. If you have seasons, it's a lot. So now they are giving you the option to turn off certain festivals. So like say you don't want the festivals from Gibby Point, like the fitness festival and whatnot, you never do any of those, or maybe you never do any of the Copperdale High School fairs such as the chess or computer teams, or maybe you have no interest in doing any of the university ones because you're not in university. You can turn specific ones off. You could just turn all of them off if you didn't want any festival notifications, but I actually like a lot of the festivals, but some of them I wouldn't mind turning off. Like honestly, like the university and the Gibby Point ones, like I never really use, so I wouldn't mind turning those off. Sometimes I wouldn't mind turning off the Hinveron Bagley fairs because it's getting the same notification for the fair on Saturday is so annoying. With that being said, that is a game option now, and honestly I think they should have made this in the game options a lot sooner. And then also something they should have done a lot sooner was do the silence phone button. Now you can completely silence your phone and they will not get any more phone calls, which I think is so cool. Like, especially if it's like a game file like in my Grimm series where they're not really supposed to be using their phone. That's really handy. Notifications make more sense for stories. So gone are the days where Sims would call for dating advice when they barely knew you. Now only friends will do this in base game. So apparently they're trying to update notifications where they come up a little less. And so it says Sims in the freelancer career will no longer receive gig calls and pop-ups from careers they're not in. Sims should now not need to be friendly before they call to invite your sim to a festival or getaway, adding story contents to these calls. Stayover calls can now happen multiple times. They may occur anytime after 14 days has passed since the initial call. This fix is retroactive and old saves as well. That's for growing together. And venture away, Sims are actively present on the lot will no longer call to ask about your adult sim childhood for formative moments features. This was a little weird how they were even doing that, ? And then good old Grimm and his little pricker on who he tries to recruit now. He's the Grim Reaper after all. He has options. He'll only call Sims to offer the job if they are macabre in life and death. And then we have stuff doing less spam calls. So it says, we've heard you become friends with. Just kidding. We removed some repetitive phone calls in live mode based on feedback from Reddit, Discord, and the EA forums. Players will no longer receive the following phone calls. Hey, I heard you became friends with so-and-so. She's pretty cool. Hey, I heard you became enemies with so-and-so. They're a jerk. Hey, I heard you and so-and-so are good friends now. You're getting more popular. Clearly, you're a good person to know. Honestly, all of those were really annoying, and I've seen them a million times. So I'm kind of glad they removed them. I'm not mad about that. Honestly, I'm not mad about it. And it says, do you want earbuds? Great. They're still available for purchase from the computer. We will, however, no longer be reminding you about them. I didn't mind getting free earbuds, but I guess the reminder that you could get them was a little annoying. And then we decrease how frequently players will get dancing and bar night invites from other sims. I feel like we don't get enough of those, but that's just my opinion. And then Beth Sterling will not call us frequently anymore. However, she does call you a sub. You are still at her mercy. Good luck, from Eco Lifestyle with the whole donation thing. And then we decrease how frequently players will get community closeness calls in Eco Lifestyle. We've removed the come check out the Thrift TNS notification reminder in high school years. In Love Struck, we've decreased how frequently players will get romance related calls. Honestly, I'm not too happy about that. I actually like the fact we get so many calls. Then Discover requests for starting a dynasty should now only occur once per save in Royalty and Legacy. And then in multiple packs in general, they have decreased frequency players will get invites from other sims. I mean, we do get a lot of invites from other sims, so I don't mind them toning it down a little bit. They have scratch file move to app data for Mac users. As a part of investigation into save corruption, the following March 10th, we moved scratch files from document to app data for PC players to prevent conflicts with the cloud backup service. Since the rollout has completed, we have observed improvement in infinite load occurrences. For this June update, we are making the same changes for Mac users. We have just some general bug fixes. So alongside the improvements for live mode notifications, this updates will address 50 plus highly voted community issues across base game and packs. Ashley heard, I think when I was looking through this one, it's like 80 fixes they're putting in, which is not the most bug fixes we've had. We've had like 150 plus before. 80 is still a good number. Some of these include stacked items, photos, and paintings become stuck to the cursor when attempting to move them into a Sims inventory. A series of fixes for duplicated Sims issues. A fix for Sims doing limited romantic interactions. And we've also made improvements on various base layer aspects to improve quality. So I guess those base layers that they added where you could layer clothes were already being glitchy, no surprise there. And then it says patch notes on June 30th will list all the features individually. So they are confirming there that the patch will be the 30th and there will be patch notes. And then it ends by saying updates on top community voted issues. For the 8 past months, our team has been dedicated to addressing community reported issues, delivering hundreds of fixes across game quality, gameplay, performance, and save integrity. Among hundreds of fixes, we resolved many of the community's most highly voted concerns and continue to actively investigate additional reports for future updates beyond individual fixes. We're also focused on broader quality of life improvements that strengthen the overall gameplay and experience a long-term stability of the game. Many of the improvement players experience not only come from resolving high visible issues, but also from ongoing refinements and behind the scenes work that help make the game feel better, more stable, and more reliable over time. As development continues, we will continue working to improve the overall experience while sharing more visibility into work happening across the game. And then it says go and join their Discord and keep reporting to the EA forums. So that's all the actual article says. And as you can see, there's actually a decent amount coming. It's not like the biggest patch we've ever gotten. Like, we've definitely gotten more than 80 bug fixes. We've definitely gotten bigger gameplay additions other than just like new game options and less frequent calls. But I think the less frequent calls are actually going to be really nice. Some of them I wish they weren't decreasing, but some of them I'm just like, yeah, I'm glad you're decreasing the chances of those. We are going to go a little bit deeper into it. So we have this article over here on the Sims tree that kind of breaks down what happened in the Q&A. The Q&A was the same day that last article came out, the 23rd, and it says, on the 23rd of June 2026, the official Sims Discord server hosted a question and answer session with the developers, producers Morgan, gameplay engineer Carlos, and the game designer Connor spent over an hour answering players' questions of the upcoming update, set to release on June 30th. The focus was roughly 80 fixes, a major overhaul on notifications and phone calls, and some amusing stories from the developers' own experiences. In this article, we've gathered the most interesting moments from the Q&A, for serious technical details to the bearded baby and confessions of love of certain bugs. So they're going to break this down. So like I said, it comes out June 30th. We are looking for about 80 fixes as far as bug fixes, addressing everything from intrusive notifications to bugs with windows and doors. The centerpiece is an overhaul notification and phone call system. Smarter calls, less spam, more meeting. One of the major new features is the ability to customize festival notifications, which we already went over, but this is the image a little bit bigger if you wanted to look at it a little bit better. But it's just under the gameplay options. Literally game options, gameplay. And then it says, when asked how the new settings would affect the calendar, the developers explained that disabling the notifications does not remove the festivals from the calendar. They will just still appear and has been scheduled. Okay, I guess it just takes away the notification. It doesn't take it away from the calendar altogether. I'm a little sad about that, but I guess it's okay. Calls will now only come from Sims who you've already had at least a friendly relationship with, which means you have to have at least 35 out of 100 friendly relationship, and that way it's less just random people calling you. And then certain types of calls will be removed entirely. We already went over those. Players also asked about relationship decay and how it would affect calls. Connor explained if a relationship falls below friendly level, those calls will cease. And then the toughest fixes. Carlos shared the most difficult fix was the windows and doors bug. They now display correctly and remain properly aligned with the walls against all graphics settings. This issue took a significant time to resolve because it required work across all the graphic issues. Other fixes include a problem where the game would freeze when loading custom tattoos from the gallery, and a bug pair where Sims could form unexpected relationships upon exiting Creative Sim. The developers confirmed pristine mean behavior of the Vicious Dynasty that we went over. We asked whether the fixes might introduce new bugs. Morgan replied they shouldn't, but we did extensive testing specifically on this bug. I feel like they saying they shouldn't just kind of sums up bugs in general. It's like, oh yeah, we're fixing this bug. Is it gonna cause more issues? It shouldn't. It's going to. I love how they clarified that Morgan said it shouldn't, but they didn't say it won't. They know it's going to cause more issues. It's just how this game works. And then it says players asked about updates to the food and drink system, as well as the possibility of reintroducing the hidden thirst motive, which was disabled in the other patch. Morgan confirmed the team is working on this but couldn't share the timeline yet. So apparently they're talking about bringing back the thirst motive. They just removed it though. Regarding expanding notification settings to include festivals in Sulani, developers said it's possible but it requires creating notifications where none currently exists. So it would kind of be pointless because there's no notifications for those festivals. I honestly didn't even know there was festivals in Sulani. Oh yeah, it's the like island spirits and stuff. I remember now. I never use this. I guess I never do that because there are no notifications for them. As objects appear to shrink in the distance, this is an intentional feature for performance optimizations, not a bug. So apparently people were complaining that like things shrink in the distance. I thought that was something that was always in Sims games. On the topic of porting children and toddlers' hairstyles to adults, Morgan says, we try to do this more often than we used to. We worried the players wouldn't like it, but once we realized how much people loved it, we kept it in mind when adding new hairstyles. So apparently they are trying to add more children and toddlers hairstyles that match adult hairstyles. And then it says funny moments from the Q&A. This session wasn't without humor. The developers named Beard Baby their favorite bug, even pinned it in the discussion. Morgan even shared a screenshot. Connor admitted he wished that they could have kept this bug where infants could be thrown across the lot, but Morgan also shared a bug involving tans that made Sims portraits look cute and funny instead of be fixed. So basically, like, people were getting shadows on their toddlers that made them look like they had facial hair, which is hilarious. And then it said, when asked when the animators were currently working on, the developers reply mysteriously, secret stuff, because they can't talk about the future stuff. And then one player asked about hammocks and hula dancing. Morgan says she'd be interested in adding death by hammock, but there's no plans for that now. Oh, that would be kind of funny. And then developers also shared funny office stories. Okay, what else do we have? We have community reaction and feedback. Players generally responded positively to the changes. One Q&A participant thanked the developers for the laundry list. Morgan says, we love to hear your feedback after you've played. Thanks. I think the game will still feel alive, and hopefully these calls will be much more relevant to your stories that you're telling. And then reminds us June 30th, 80 fixes, improvements and notifications to calls, attention to bugs, and noticeably enhanced gameplay. And then it just closes up by saying the developers also made it clear that isn't the last quality of life update. There is more to come in the future. And that is pretty much all the news that we have for the last week or so. I mean, it's not the end of the week. I normally do these like over the weekend or whatnot. It is only Thursday going into Friday morning. Like, it's like Thursday night for me right now. So, there could be more news between these two games at the end of the week. Honestly, just between life simulation games and other games in general. But Paralives and the Sims games, not just the Sims 4, but the Sims franchise in general, are the main news stories that I tend to cover. But if I hear something else interesting, it might pop in there, because I do like combining different game newses into one video, because I feel like life simulation games and cozy games in general kind of go together when it comes to this community. Just to remind you, the Paralives is doing that giveaway for like the next less than 24 hours, so make sure you go check that out if you want a chance to get a free copy. But if you made it to this point of the video, I hope you found it entertaining and educational, because that was the entire purpose. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and do all that awesome stuff, because you guys are awesome people. I'll see you next time. Alright, bye!